The year was 1879, and the winds of war were sweeping across the rolling hills of Zululand. On one side stood the British Empire, confident in its modern rifles, disciplined troops, and years of imperial conquest across continents. They believed no indigenous army could ever challenge their firepower and strategic prowess. On the other side were the Zulu warriors, fierce, disciplined, and bound by an unbreakable sense of unity and loyalty to their king, Sethwayo. Beneath the surface, this clash was more than just a military engagement. It was a collision of cultures, pride, and survival itself. British officers underestimated the Zulus, viewing them through a lens of imperial superiority, while the Zulu leadership meticulously studied the enemy, preparing to exploit every weakness. The tension was palpable. As dawn broke over the misty hills of Isandlwana, neither side fully grasped the storm that was about to erupt. Every decision made in those critical hours, the British underestimating the terrain, spreading their forces thin, and failing to post adequate scouts, and the Zulu planning a daring encirclement, would seal the fate of hundreds, shifting the balance of power in a way few in Europe could have imagined. It was a battle born not just of rifles and shields, but of deep-seated politics, colonial ambition, and the Zulu Kingdom's fierce desire to defend its land and sovereignty. As the morning sun climbed higher, the British camp at Isandlwana hummed with routine, entirely unaware of the storm gathering on the horizon. Officers pored over maps and reports, confident that their superior firepower and disciplined formations would crush any resistance. Yet, the Zulu army moved with a precision and stealth that defied European assumptions. Hidden within the rolling hills and dense brush, thousands of warriors advanced, their movements coordinated by centuries-old tactics passed down through generations. The famous horns of the buffalo formation was ready to envelop the British forces, a strategy both elegant and deadly in its simplicity. As the Zulu impi drew closer, the first skirmishes erupted along the edges of the camp, testing the British reaction and luring them into a dangerous sense of overconfidence. Shots rang out, drums pounded in the distance, and the clash of cultures turned into the clash of steel and gunpowder. Panic subtly crept into the ranks, as soldiers realized that this was not a typical colonial encounter. The Zulus were not retreating, they were advancing relentlessly, exploiting every gap, every hesitation. Within hours, what began as a disciplined assembly of troops turned into a desperate struggle for survival, and the very ground of Isandlwana would soon bear witness to one of the most stunning defeats of the British Empire. By midday, the British forces found themselves trapped in a nightmare they had neither anticipated nor prepared for. The Zulu warriors, using speed, agility, and intimate knowledge of the terrain, pressed their attack from every direction. The horns of the buffalo curved around the British lines, cutting off escape routes and isolating units from one another. Despite their rifles and bayonets, the British soldiers were overwhelmed by sheer numbers and relentless assault. Cannon fire and musket volleys could not halt the tide of Zulu warriors, who closed the distance with terrifying courage, their shields deflecting blows and their spears striking with deadly precision. Officers shouted orders, but chaos reigned. Communication broke down as units scattered, and soldiers who had believed themselves invincible faced the harsh reality of a disciplined, highly motivated opponent who fought for homeland, honor, and survival. The ground became a bloody theater of valor and tragedy, where courage clashed with strategy, and arrogance met its reckoning. Countless lives were lost, not just from bullets, but from the relentless hand-to-hand combat that left the British forces decimated. The Zulus' victory was not born of luck, it was the culmination of careful planning, intimate knowledge of their enemy, and unbreakable resolve, reshaping the perception of European invincibility and sending shockwaves through the colonial world. As the sun began its slow descent, the scale of the disaster for the British became painfully clear. Entire companies had been annihilated, their banners torn and trampled underfoot, and the once confident soldiers who had marched into Zululand with imperial pride now lay scattered or fallen. The Zulu army, disciplined and coordinated, did not merely attack. They executed a strategy that maximized psychological and physical pressure, striking fear into the hearts of the British while maintaining cohesion among their ranks. Every hill, every ridge, and every ravine became a tactical advantage for the Zulu warriors, who moved with an almost uncanny precision. Survivors recounted scenes of chaos where officers, cut off from their men, fell one by one, unable to rally their troops. Despite the British reliance on superior technology, the human element, morale, courage, and local knowledge proved decisive. The battle exposed critical flaws in the colonial military mindset, underestimating the opponent, failing to adapt to unfamiliar terrain, and ignoring intelligence that suggested the Zulus were far more organized and capable than assumed. By evening, Isandlwana had transformed from a confident encampment into a grim tableau of defeat, its story echoing as a warning about the dangers of arrogance and the unstoppable force of a determined, united people defending their homeland. The aftermath of Isandlwana left an indelible mark on history, shocking the British Empire and the world alike. News of the devastating Zulu victory spread quickly, challenging assumptions about European superiority and showcasing the extraordinary skill, courage, and strategy of the indigenous army. Yet, the cost of war was immense on both sides, with hundreds of lives lost and countless families forever changed. The battle became a symbol of resistance, a testament to what determination and unity could achieve against overwhelming odds. It also served as a brutal lesson in underestimating one's opponent and the consequences of arrogance. As we reflect on this remarkable clash of cultures and the extraordinary bravery displayed, it reminds us that history is shaped not only by empires and technology, but by the human spirit itself. If you find value and insight in these stories, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and press the bell notification button so you never miss our latest War Series videos, exploring history's most dramatic and influential battles from every corner of the world.